Welcome to the Dog Trainers Podcast, a podcast created by dog trainers, for dog trainers, or anyone who's ever fallen in love with man's best friend. Episode 7, Why Dog Training is Important.
I want to ask you something, Brent. So now that we've kind of talked about what dog training is, pragmatically speaking, and we've broken it down to those 5 segments. There's routine development, communication, behavioral development, socialization, and relationship development.
Yep.
But we started with why dog training is important, right? It builds communication. We have that relationship building aspect to it and understanding the differences in dogs and people. Why then do so many people get it wrong? And I'm kind of asking that in terms of clients and even some dog trainers.
How people really get it wrong.
Why? How or why?
Well, a lot of times people, they get it wrong. To start off, people get it wrong because they don't know what to do, right? As you mentioned earlier, there's this information overload sometimes on the internet. People don't know what the right method, idea, technique, and everything is going to be for their dog. So they get confused. They know they have to do dog training. They just have no freaking clue what they should be doing or how to get the result that they want, how to do it in a way that they can back up and believe in. So that's one reason. I think another one is, some people have this very surface level idea of what dog training might be. So like very commonly we see people think that dog training is sitting and rolling over and giving paw and things like that. But in actuality, dog training is everything that we've described when you go into the deeper levels, right? Now, I can't necessarily blame people for thinking those things because, if you go to some of the corporate dog training companies, we start seeing like, PetSmart, Petco, these people, they do training in a way that is simply that, right? And they want to sell you group classes where, you teach your dog these tricks and you teach these dogs these commands. But the reality of it is these dog trainers do not have the education and experience to be able to teach you anything outside of those fields,
right,
outside of into behavioral issues or anything like that. They literally strictly just teach you obedience and communication. So it's, some people think dog training is stupid, right? I had a intern of mine who was so funny because when we first met her, she would say things like, dog training, I could do it, but like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like dogs, I don't get how like rolling over, giving paws, like good for anything. In essence, like I just think dogs should just be, free and they should be animals. And, she was even going far out to the left field where she was saying like dogs shouldn't have been domesticated in the first place.
right.
And I could totally come to her with empathy and understand, like, I get what you're saying. In essence, what she was saying, she was frustrated at, we fuck it up so much as humans, right? 33,000 years of domestication, and we still haven't figured this dog stuff out 100% as a culture, as a race, as a human race, right? So it's totally frustrating. And in her mind, she just thought, well, we shouldn't have domesticated them in the first place. So go ahead.
It's funny too. You and I had this conversation like 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know if you remember. Brent and I are good friends, other than than people who work in the same field. And we used to, get off of work together and go hang out at a bar. I forgot the name of that bar. But
the West Side Pavilion. Yeah,
there you go. And I remember one night you and I were sitting down, and it was after like a long day. I think we worked and then did a video and then went to the bar.
Right.
And I was talking to you about like, I'm kind of getting there now. I'm getting a little comfortable and getting good, but I really want to do something that matters. I don't know if you remember this, but we really dove into it like soon thereafter. And I think we made a video, or check out our older video, Good Dog versus Trained Dog. And it was helping me understand really at the time, dog training is bigger than just making dogs sit and lay down. It's building communication. In many cases, it's keeping a dog in a home where people would otherwise have to give up their dog, or whatever the case. Especially now with things going on, I'm hearing people are giving up dogs like crazy, and shelters and things are closing down. And it's really important work to teach people the understanding. It can make their lives safer, it can make them happier. And a lot of people need dogs for like emotional support or other services for like medical issues. And it's a big thing. So it's definitely, and we're not slamming Petco, mind you. The thing about the market in any sort of industry is there's something out there for every like consumer. Like we said in the beginning, that dog training, like any other business, is there to fill a need. And some people Some people, all they want is like a lower price tag and just some
Mhm.
very basic intro to dog training stuff. And either that's enough for them forever, or it's enough for them just to kind of dip their toe in the pond. And then later on, they'll look into further training with like us. But yeah,
Right.
it's a
You're
fun one.
you're always going to have your McDonald's, you're always going to have your Five Guys, you're always going to have your, Gordon Ramsay burger.
Right.
Right? There's different levels of expertise and knowledge and effort and ingredients that get put into whatever services that you're looking for
Yeah.
sure. I love that, man. I love that. Cool, guys. Well, I think we kind of summed it up. Let's go ahead and just recap it for them real quick. Why is dog training important? Dog training is important um, to allow you to, have better understanding with your dog, to have a stronger relationship and a more effective relationship with the different species, to be able to live in harmony and coexist with animals that we've not only bred but we've actually forced to live into our human worlds and lifestyles. So and most importantly, what I feel is dog training teaches us so much about ourselves, right? So much about patience, so much about consistency, so much about confidence, so much about leadership, so much about you know introspection, right? There are so many times I used to relate when I was a younger dog trainer. If there was a dog that I could not train, I would go and ask one of my mentors, and I'd say, "What's going on?" And they would literally bring up something that was weak in me. You're
Hmm.
not patient enough. You're getting too frustrated. You're not consistent enough. You're so busy playing with the dog that he thinks you're his playmate. You're not this. And so it just opened my eyes to not only my dog relationships, but it opened up to my socials networks too. Why certain people treated me a certain way, why I kept getting myself in the same problems. Um, and so on a personal note, dog training has also taught me so much about myself. And so on a very, very personal note, the amount of introspection that one can do when learning dog training or learning to just train your dog, it makes you a better training dogs make you a better human. Let's just say that. I would say it makes you a better human if you learn to train your own dog.
Agreed.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us on our 7th episode of the Dog Trainers Podcast. My name is Brent Labrada, and that guy over there is Mariano Alvarez. We're going to go ahead and leave our Instagram handles down here. And please go ahead and feel free to email us at the dogtrainerspodcast@gmail.com. Send us any questions that you guys might have, any ideas that you guys would like to listen to on this podcast. We really look forward to hearing and interacting and engaging with you guys. I guess till next time, we'll see you guys soon. Bye.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Dog Trainers Podcast, a podcast created by dog trainers for dog trainers or anyone who's ever fallen in love with man's best friend.